And thanks for having me today. My name is Mary Beth Hall. I'm the Director of Global IoT Product and Development. I work out of our Basking Ridge headquarters. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about ThinkSpace. We got to hear a little bit about it from Doug, but I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive. And I want you to think about how we think about ThinkSpace and how we're thinking about IoT. I'll talk a little bit about our strategy and some of the big verticals that we're thinking of playing in, and we think we have a chance to win in those markets. Before I do, coming down to Florida was a great experience. I came out of the New York area, and I grew up there. And many of you may have been in Manhattan and experienced some of the nightlife there. It's very difficult to get into some of the events when you wanted to get in. There were many times where I wanted to get in, and either I had to wait in a long line or get there and have to pay an expensive cover to get in, only to find out once that I got in, my friends weren't able to get in because only a limited number. My mic's going out. Is it okay? But I think that's very similar to IoT, right? It's very complicated to get into IoT back in the day. All right, thank you. It was challenging to get into it. Either the cost of the hardware was so expensive, right? Or you had to learn complex programs that were proprietary to organizations to be able to develop with it. And oh, by the way, you needed multiple partner agreements to get in. Well, Verizon, we're looking at breaking down some of those barriers. And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today with our ThinkSpace platform as well as some of the verticals that we have. Quick stats here, and something, a lot of you have seen this, and probably IDCs in the audience this afternoon. But, organizations are looking at IoT to really help them with the operational costs. Almost $800 billion in costs this year, going up to $1.3 trillion that they can save in revenue, operational costs, all the care that comes from IoT. And I think that's the excitement that we're seeing this year and that we've already heard this morning from many of the presenters. IoT is the next big bet. Verizon, we think that it's the next big bet as well. So why Verizon and why IoT? So first, let's talk about this. I have easy to build. How many of us think that IoT has been easy to build? A few of us, right? It hasn't been that easy. It's a little complicated to do it, right? And so what we want to try to do is take the friction out of IoT, whether that's through our developer platform with ThinkSpace, and I'll talk about that in a minute, or through many of you that are in the audience, our partners. We have over 1,000 partners in our resale program, thousands of OEMs that have come and certified on our network, and we want to continue to do that because we know we can't do this alone. This is a big space. There's a lot of players in it, from small to large, and we want to be able to work together. And that will help us get quick to deploy. Because we know there are many companies out there that are hesitant to get into IoT because of the complex nature of it, or they just don't know where to start or how to get started. And then simple to manage. One of the things that we're doing at Verizon is we want to make it easier for you to manage IoT because we know there's a different type of customer that's using IoT. They are more like supply chain managers as opposed to cell phone managers or tablet managers. And so we're changing our system to be able to help our customers, and we're talking to our customers about what that means. And then we're going to be available around the globe, whether that's our cloud infrastructure. We've got 20 data centers already with some of our acquisitions. We're continuing to grow our direct agreements with our local operators throughout the world for our smartphone and tablet sales, and then doing the same for M2M. We know that globally, M2M is a little different, right? When we need to have a device that's permanently stationed in a country. So we're working with all the regulatory bodies in each of the countries to be able to have that. Today, we've got over 100 countries where you can deploy M2M and get a single bill from Verizon if that's the choice of the customer. So just to kind of think about IoT a little bit further, and I want to get into a little more detail. So one of the things that Doug had mentioned this morning is our IoT platform. And I'm going to talk a little bit about ThinkSpace in a minute, so I'm going to hold that one. And then we heard of Ingenu as far as a dedicated network. Verizon, we're doing the similar thing. We want to have a dedicated IoT network. Because we know these devices act differently than our smartphones and our tablets, and we want to treat them a little different on our network. So we're building that out. We'll have our first iteration of that in the second quarter of this year. It'll be for very specific use cases. Those will be the Cat 1 devices that we heard about, not the M1 or the M2 yet, but Cat 1 for now. We're looking at handling that traffic a little differently, really for cost savings to the customer, but also for those customers to manage those devices a little differently. And then innovation, right? We've got some 5 key vertical areas, and I'll talk about them in a minute, but they are agriculture, healthcare, we've got consumer electronics, and the sharing economy. And then we're looking at data analytics. We've got our infrastructure, we've actually hired somebody from NASA to help us with that. And later at the end, I'll show you a customer proof of concept that we're working with Han Vineyard out in the West with our data analytics and saying that predictive, prescriptive analytics and how you can marry that with the IoT data for your customers. And then in smart cities, right? Smart cities is great, and we heard some people not even getting deployed yet this morning with smart cities. But when you can take point solutions and combine them all for a city, that's where the value is. And that's where we see cities wanting to be able to have that. And through our partner program, we're going to be able to provide that on one platform, which will be ThinkSpace. So what does ThinkSpace look like? ThinkSpace is 3 different areas you can think about it. And what we've done is we've opened up the develop platform. This is where our developers can find open APIs. For the first time, our key connectivity APIs are available on this site. And at the end, I will have you look at the website. You can sign up today to be a developer, use the RESTful APIs, and begin to start coding. All of the applications and tools are there. One of the things that we've done at Verizon is we are actually deploying, it's a productive, it's a platform that's in production, if you will, but it's not fully baked. And we are taking kind of some lessons from many of you in the audience, our trusted partners, as well as some of the Googles in the world, where we've actually deployed a product where the full vision isn't there for Verizon, but we want to get feedback from you. So I welcome you to sign up and give us feedback. Of course, I'll be here today and tomorrow and would love to talk to each of you about that. And then we've got market. So once a developer develops an application, where do they market it? We're going to have our own market. We've got one partner in there right now as a proof of concept. It's called Bug Labs. Peter Semilak will be talking to you tomorrow about the platform that he has. We've also got some other partner agreements with Arrow Electronics as well as Renaissance. But we want to be able to showcase these as well as some of our own Verizon branded solutions. And then being able to manage your devices, whether you're developing an application or managing and setting up alerts once you're a customer, being able to do that all in one platform is our vision for ThinkSpace. So we will fully develop that out. We're integrating that platform by the second quarter of this year within ThinkSpace, so you'll get to see that as well. So what does it look like if you looked at it from horizontal or stacking view? So first of all, we've got the network and devices. So those network and devices can be our traditional Cat 3 devices, which are our smartphones and tablets. And then you've got your Cat 1. Which we heard from Sequans that we were the first to have that device certified, and they certified it in an Encore device. And we've got other devices that are getting certified as well. And what we want to be able to do, though, is offer various technologies for our customers. Because IoT, if it hasn't taught us one thing, it's taught us that there's not one size fits all. Every customer is so unique, which what makes IoT so challenging. But we want to be able to offer that. So our network and our devices will have that capability. ThingSpace will be our platform which handles that. So whether you're developing an application or you're managing your devices, you'll be able to do that all on the ThingSpace platform. And then we've got the 5 big bets that we're looking at as far as verticals. Now there are many more, but these are the ones that we're going to go after with our Verizon branded solutions. And what we want to be able to do is have a holistic platform where cities can come into one platform to be able to develop, to be able to manage all of their solutions. So whether they're buying 1 or 2 solutions from Verizon and 3 from a different partner, they'll have at least one location to be able to manage all of them. So what does that look like? You know, for Verizon, we're a very large organization, and we were a little bit siloed when it came to IoT. So the first piece is that consumer. You've got telematics, right, with our acquisition there, and then our enterprise. I sit more on the enterprise side, is where we saw most of the IoT development and growth, but the consumer is definitely up and coming. We've made some big strides there, and ThingSpace will be our partner platform and our platform for each of these lines of business. And that's our strategy overall, to have one platform. So whether you've got your application, your platform, your connectivity, and then any type of sensor or devices that are on there. And then you've got the 5 verticals. So let's just take a minute to talk about these. So first, in energy, there are about 147 million meters out there. And so our grid-wide solution, we deployed that last year in June. And it helps utility companies modernize their networks. So whether they want to realize some additional ROI or help their care organizations, they're able to do that with the grid-wide solution. In healthcare, our strategy here is to offer this vertical some integrated solutions. And what we've done here is looked at kind of the regulatory and environmental challenges that are going on in this industry. And we've got a track and trace product which will launch in the second quarter of this year, which will help healthcare organizations handle the new government regulatory that are coming down the pike. They really want to know down to a pill level where that product is throughout the cycle. And in share. So the sharing economy has really changed for us. And today we've got our sharing platform. We work with one of our partners. You're going to hear from Fred in a minute from Telit and ILS. And we are working with them to expand our platform to be able to offer a sharing platform for not only vehicles, which we have today, but we want to be able to offer that in the commercial sense for industrial type and forestry type vehicles, as well as vehicles for you and I. We saw bikes and golf carts and that type thing. We are seeing a big shift in the digital millennials. Ownership to usership, really, where they just want to be able to use and share vehicles and the different high-value items, and this sharing platform will get us into that space. Ag tech is another one that we are placing a big bet on, and you'll get to see that in the video that we'll show you at the end. But ag tech, whether you're a smart farm and you need to realize additional crop yield or the health of your animals, we're starting to see a lot in that space. And then smart cities. We've heard a lot about smart cities. We've got 3 key products that we have here, and that's intelligent video, lighting, and traffic. If you think about smart cities, you know, I mentioned that I grew up in Manhattan, and you could spend hours trying to find a parking space, right? Or traffic is diverted because of an accident. So these are common problems in our cities today. So if you could be able to manage that as an infrastructure when you're a city, you'll be able to help your citizens in a much better way. And that's what we're trying to do, is take those point solutions and put them together for cities, and that'll be available through our ThingSpace platform. We've got some proof of concepts that we're working with some of the larger cities on the East Coast with them. And then price and size. We heard a little bit about this already from Sequans and some of the other OEMs that we heard of on the panels. But one of the other big challenges for us with our customers is the price and the size of the modules. So the module, including the chipset. You're starting to see the chipset size go down as more and more connected devices are out there. But as far as the cost, you're also starting to see that go down as we go from Cat 3 to Cat 1 and then eventually to Cat M. We're working with many OEMs in this space to be able to bring down the BOM costs as far as the hardware goes. And so we'll continue to include many OEMs to be able to provide that for our customers. So what's the IoT expertise? So we've got three key areas here. You know, when it comes to Verizon, right, we've got several different acquisitions in our portfolio, whether that's the Terramar cloud that we've purchased. We've got over 20 data centers globally. We're going to continue to expand on that. Networking, right, 98% of the U.S. is covered with our 4G. We are testing 5G as we speak, and we will continue to try to adopt that, especially when it comes to IoT. Our Fios network continues to develop, especially on the East Coast, and then IoT is one of the key areas that we're placing a big bet on. The other thing that I'll mention here is that we also at Verizon, we've taken from a product standpoint, we've taken our wireline and wireless business and put it into one organization, really so that we can get products to market quicker and that there are more voice of the customer in our products and in our product research. And then our experience, right? Not only from the network side, but from the IoT side. We've been in this telemetry business for a long time, and we continue to adopt that. We are placing some big bets definitely in the IoT and the connected devices. And then strong relationships with our partners and vendors, and many of you are in the audience, so I thank you for those relationships, and we will continue to build on those. And then just, you know, to close this out and before I show the video, you know, we're looking at solutions. We want to be able to partner with you to build a quick and that's easy to deploy solution. So whether you need hardware expertise, we've got our 2 innovation centers where you can talk to our engineers about hardware and also software now, application design. We've got 2 locations in Waltham on the East Coast and in San Francisco on the West Coast where you can actually do that right here, and we will help you get started. So we want to partner with you. We welcome your questions. What I'd like to invite you to do, go ahead and cue the video, and you can also log in to thingspace.verizon.com and sign up as a developer. Okay, let's see if this works.
Here at Han Estates, we're essentially bush to barrel. We prune it all the way through harvesting, right to the barrels and the bottling.
If you look at the way crops have been grown for thousands of years, people have kind of tried to understand what makes the best grapes or what makes the best corn, what makes the best soybeans. And I think the IoT platform that we're building, as well as our analytic capability, gives us the ability to understand data and information at multiple scales, thereby giving growers and farmers better insight into what's happening on their crops.
This is what is known as Block 1. This represents about 6 acres. So what we're trying to do here is actually increase the precision so we can understand the individual needs per block versus applying prescriptions as a whole. Part of that is deploying IoT sensors. This one here is measuring temperature and humidity, and that all talks through a transceiver. We've installed soil moisture monitors. These measure volumetric water content at 12, 24, 36, and 48 inches. So now that we know the prescription that this block needs, we've installed flow meters on the irrigation system to measure the amount of water that we're actually applying. All of the sensors in the field communicate to a gateway housed here in the weather station. This measures both wind speed and direction, temperature and humidity, rainfall, and photosynthetically active radiation.
Now we're to the point where we've got the ability to look from UAVs, drones that are flying. We have weather stations, we have soil monitoring. When you bring all these things together, you're getting a very comprehensive view of what's happening on the ground. And that's what's really important to a farmer.
We think our solution will increase our customers' yield by 10%, reduce their spraying and watering by 30%, and it will increase the quality of the wines by increasing the uniformity of the field.
It's part of our sustainability to just find ways to do things more efficiently. And so I think that we're constantly learning. And this is really going to give us a lot more information to really fine-tune what we're looking for.
Okay, that's an example of our data analytics platform and ThinkSpace coming together to give a solution to the Han Vineyard. So we've got we're trying the proof of concept and application on 30 acres out on the West Coast. So that's a great example of two things coming together on one platform. And once again, it's thinkspace.verizon.com. Take a minute to sign up. We'd love to have you and get your feedback on the site. I have a couple minutes. I wanted to open it up to any questions that the group may have.
Okay, first one is close enough that I don't have to run. Hi, Mary Beth. Can you talk to us a little bit about security and IoT systems and how Verizon's addressing that, please?
Sure. So the question is on security. And one of the things that we have, in addition to the private network component, is we've got our MCS, which is our credentialing item. So you can actually have an IoT credentialing security certificate on the device. And what we want to be able to do is enable that in our modules and our devices for our customers. So that's a product that's going to be coming out in the second quarter. In addition to that, we also are working on an integrated tool for FODA that will have the OMA-DM standards, so that some of that diagnostic and information will be able to be housed right through the ThinkSpace platform.
Hi, Chris Celebrity, the Field Group. It's kind of funny, I hear everything, everyone's talking about it, agriculture, cities. What I haven't heard is universities. Mm-hmm. So not only universities, because I talk to kids all the time, I work at NJIT a lot, and that's all they talk about is sustainability and IoT. And it's interesting, I haven't seen any sort of, joint venture or, with someone like Verizon, NJIT, Rutgers. I was thinking we might see use cases of some of that type of work. Mm-hmm. So is Verizon doing anything with the universities, not only in business-wise, but as sort of joint ventures in their NJII, at NJIT or at Rutgers?
Sure. Great question. So the question is around universities and what is Verizon doing. So a couple things. Our sharing platform, we are targeting universities. They want to be able to target smaller vehicles that are that are electric powered. So we're doing that at University of Michigan, Pittsburgh, and then in the University of Georgia, we're also partnering with them for the developer program. Not only to help, they actually have a degree in IoT, so we're helping them with our developer program, providing them boards and being able to adopt different software. So combination in sustainability with share, and then of course in some of the ag tech solutions We've got some of the larger ones. A lot, Cornell, our chairman is a graduate of Cornell, so that's always has a near and dear to our heart. But many universities are also using some of the smart city application when it comes to venues to be able to manage the traffic. So many different applications and different parts of the businesses that we're working with universities, whether it's in the classroom or managing their business. So we continue to look at them, but overall. Other questions?
Hi there, Mary Beth. Question over here, this way.
Which way? Okay. See,
Hi there, I'm Brad Poole. Quick question, which of the 5 verticals do you see Cat 1 being most useful in?
Good question. So which vertical would be the most applicable for Cat 1? We think it's going to be in the utility space, where they will be hard-coded in the ground and stationary. I know we talked a little bit about transportation. I think that's a more challenging one, given some of the white space that comes up with Cat 1. I also manage our global business, and globally we haven't seen the adoption of Cat 1 or Cat M technologies as quickly as we are seeing here domestically. So we'll see how that kind of falls out. But more in those small data amounts that need to get transmitted that are in one location or two.
So Mary Beth, there were questions that people wanted to ask that they didn't ask, so
sure.
I'm going to ask on their behalf. I'm over towards your 3 o'clock now. I know, it's the bright lights. You can't see us.
You can't see anything.
So, anyway, talk to us about how people can get involved with you. Besides, obviously, end-user customers, sure. What's the role for people who want to become system integrators and, in fact, become VAR channels for you and that kind of stuff?
So question around how do you be a partner of ours? So on our Verizon partner program.com, you can sign up to be a partner there. If you're a hardware OEM or open development, Verizon.openaccess.com is our website. And then when you go to thinkspace.verizon.com, we've also got an email address if you want to be if you have any questions regarding that site. So and my counterpart and I are here, Usair Siddiqui, so he's going to be on a couple of presentations tomorrow, as well as you saw Doug Wilson this morning. So there's a couple of us here.
And Greg's doing one too, I believe.
Yes.
With Paul, yes. So
we've got several of us here, and we'll be here throughout the conference.
So with that said, please give Mary Beth a round of applause.